Ooh. Hello everybody. It's me again. It's Brenda. Wednesday snuck up on me. I was going to try to have something really neat to video, but I'm in my van. Oh, here's the pillow that I made. I painted my little doggies. Her name was Kokomo. She passed, January a year ago, and I miss her so very much. And she was going to go traveling with me in the van. She loved to travel. Anyway, like I said, I'm over here in the coastal water area. I started out my life over in the mountains or at the foot of the mountains, Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. So I started over there in the 40s, was born there, made my way all the way up to Washington, D.C. and lived up there a long time. And well, Daddy, like I said, Daddy was a carpenter. There wasn't a lot of work around the foot of the Blue Ridge. And he had a great uncle that had gone to Washington, D.C. and was driving a cab up there. And he told my dad had just got out of the Army. And, well, not just got out, but he was out long enough to know there wasn't a lot of work there. And so my dad said he's going up there for a while and see what's cooking, and then he'd send for Mama and us kids from a child. But it was a good time to be there because during that time, Patsy, Cline, Jimmy Dean, Roy Clark, all of them were, Connie B. Gay, they were all making music around the Washington, D.C. area. And a little unknown guy named Elvis Presley used to come up there and hang around the stage of the Uline Arena. Daddy, I was too young to remember. My daddy said he was begging to get up and sing. Or not begging, but hoping someone would let him get up and sing. Because the Uline Arena was a big stage there in Washington, D.C. But I do remember, I was probably about 10. I mean, I was old enough to remember. There was a drive-in theater called the Ranch Drive-In, and that was in Maryland. Of course, Maryland's just right next to D.C. Like Virginia's on this side and Maryland's on that side, which is kind of weird because if you're coming up the Potomac River towards Washington, D.C., Virginia's on your left and Maryland's on your right. Virginia, Virgin, Mary, Maryland is on the right. Virgin, Mary. Anyway, my mind's just like that. There was a drive-in called the Ranch Drive-In, and it was down in, I think, Upper Marlboro or Clinton, Maryland, somewhere in Maryland. Roy Clark lived there in Washington, D.C., over in Eastover section, and we were in Southern Avenue, just, I don't know, not even a half a mile. But Daddy knew a lot of them. So anyway, he said they're gathering up, they're going to be on the top of the refreshment stand at the Ranch Drive-In tonight. We're all going. And I was like, oh yeah. And I do remember looking up over top of the refreshment stand at this drive-in. And I remember seeing Patsy Cline. She had on I don't remember the top, but I remember the skirt had that fringe around the bottom of it and cowboy boots. And Jimmy Dean was there. And Roy Clark was there. I don't remember what they sang or anything like that, but I remember seeing them all. They were so young and so vibrant, and I mean, time marches on, right? But that's one of my earliest memories. And after that, Daddy and Mama started having so many kids, we had to move over in Virginia. Daddy didn't like Maryland. I don't know why, but... And Daddy was working at Washington Terminal down at Union Station. He had got a job as a brakeman, and then I guess he was doing carpentry on the side. But when we first moved there, we moved to Kennedy Street, Northwest. I think it was Northwest, right in Washington. And I remember that uncle of my dad's coming over and saying, that movie's going to be on tonight I was telling you all about that they made a couple years ago, and said, my buddy's driving the yellow cab in that movie. He thought that was a really big deal. And that movie turned out to be The Day the Earth Stood Still, which to this day is my fave science fiction movie. Love it. I think it was 1951 or 56, somewhere around in there. The Day the Earth Stood Still, with Michael Rennie and Patricia Neal and Gort the robot. And anyway, we were on Kennedy Street, and the carpenter, he took the name of Carpenter, and he stayed in a house, took a room in a house on Harvard Street. It wasn't that far at all. I think Harvard Street was over towards Foggy Bottom, which was more the uppity section. But that's where we were at first, and right across the Maryland state line. And that's where I met little Jimmy Clark and all those big stars. Of course, Patsy Cline, now she lived in Winchester, Virginia. D.C. sits between Virginia and Maryland, so she wasn't that far. And they probably, I guess they got paid. I don't know. Or maybe they just did gang up to play music because they were friends. But I used to watch Hee Haw, remember Hee Haw? And Roy Clark on there, and all of those musicians. And a lot of them were around DC too. I don't know, it's pretty interesting. So next time I see you, I'm going to talk about something else. Talk about, let's say, we worked our way up to the 50s. From Western, I'm talking about my life because that's the only thing I know about. That's really the only thing. Look at my pretty van. I can't wait to travel. No, I can't wait. I'll tell you what I wanted to do. I wanted to, my sister and a couple of other brothers and all live down here, not right here by me, but they're here. So I wanted to, before I actually put down roots here, I wanted to get a cargo van and try to fix it up a little bit. I mean, I did pretty good with this one, Of course, it already had walls and everything in it. Oh, there's a wasp trying to get in here. Get. Shoo. That's all I need. I wanted to get a cargo van, because I've always wanted to travel. So I wanted to get a cargo van and try to fix it up to travel. And I had my little puppy dog then. My sweet baby. Oh, I just miss her so much. If you've ever had a dog, they open neurons in you that people can't. That's a fact. I wanted to travel for a year before I had to start paying rent. Or if I bought my son made that clear that I wasn't going to get a house because I'm getting so old. I can't take care of it 500 miles away. You can't take it. And I'm like, yes, I can. I just took care of one for 13 years, but that's another story. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to travel for a year before I put down roots, because I would have had all that rent money to travel with. And now I can still travel, but, when it's not the same. And I can take a nap and sleep in this, but I can't live in it like I could if I tricked out a cargo van. So, I don't know. Who knows what God's got in store for us? We never do know, do we? All right, see you later. Bye.